The last day of school. In the quaint town of Willow Creek, where secrets whispered through the gnarled branches of ancient trees and the mist clung to the ground like an eerie shroud, the last day of school marked a transition not just from childhood to adolescence, but also from innocence to a realm of darkness. Amelia, a timid and introverted 12-year-old, felt a mix of excitement and dread as she stepped into the hallowed halls of Willow Creek Elementary for the final time. The familiar faces, etched with anticipation and freedom, contrasted with the lingering sense of unease that gnawed at her heart. As the afternoon bell rang, signaling the end of their last lesson, a hush fell over the classroom. Students hastily gathered their belongings, eager to shed the confines of school and embrace the summer's embrace. But Amelia lingered, her eyes fixed on the dusty blackboard where an enigmatic message had been scrawled in chalk. The red circle, midnight, abandoned house on Willow Street. A chill ran down her spine as she read the words. The red circle was a legend whispered among the children of Willow Creek, a secret society rumored to engage in sinister rituals within the decaying walls of the abandoned house. Fear and curiosity intertwined within Amelia's mind, drawing her towards the unknown. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the town, Amelia found herself standing before the dilapidated structure on Willow Street. The house's once grand facade had crumbled into ruin, the windows boarded up and the paint peeling like scabs from a forgotten wound. A rusted gate creaked open, inviting her into a realm of darkness. With trembling hands, Amelia pushed the gate and stepped into the overgrown yard. The oppressive silence was broken only by the sound of her own footsteps and the rustling of leaves beneath her feet. She approached the front door, where a faded sign warned, "Trespassers will be prosecuted." Undeterred by the threat, Amelia knocked. A hollow echo reverberated within the house, its emptiness a stark reminder of the horrors that might lurk within. She waited, her heart pounding in her chest, but no answer came. Driven by a mix of fear and fascination, Amelia turned the doorknob and pushed the door open. The air inside was thick with dust and decay, and the only light emanated from a flickering candle on the mantelpiece. Amelia entered cautiously, her eyes scanning the room. Suddenly, the candle extinguished, plunging the room into darkness. Amelia gasped and fumbled for her backpack, her fingers trembling as she searched for her flashlight. As she found it and snapped it on, a gasp escaped her lips. Painted on the wall in blood-red paint was a large circle, its center marked with an ancient symbol. Around it were crudely drawn figures, their faces twisted in agony and fear. Amelia felt a surge of nausea as she realized the true nature of the red circle. Frantically, she turned and ran for the door, her flashlight casting grotesque shadows on the walls. Behind her, she heard a sound that made her blood run cold, a guttural laugh. She stumbled outside and into the night, her breath coming in ragged gasps. The abandoned house loomed behind her, its dark windows seeming to watch her, to mock her. As she ran through the empty streets, she could hear the laughter following her, growing louder with each step she took. Amelia ran until her lungs burned and her legs gave out. She collapsed on the sidewalk, her body trembling with fear and exhaustion. As she lay there, unable to move, the laughter ceased. Slowly, Amelia opened her eyes and looked around. She was alone in the deserted streets, the abandoned house nowhere to be seen. Had it all been a nightmare, a product of her overactive imagination? She stood up and made her way home, her mind racing. As she entered her house, she noticed a strange mark on her arm. It was a small red circle, the same symbol from the abandoned house. Amelia's life spiraled into a living nightmare as strange and terrifying events began to plague her. She was haunted by nightmares, her sleep filled with visions of the red circle and the tormented figures. Shadows seemed to dance in her peripheral vision, and whispers carried her name on the wind. The once familiar streets of Willow Creek took on a sinister aspect, revealing hidden horrors that lurked beneath the surface. The laughter that had followed her from the abandoned house echoed in her ears, a constant reminder of the darkness she had unwittingly unleashed. Amelia's parents, concerned by her sudden change in behavior, took her to a doctor, but no physical or mental illness could be found. Desperate for answers, they turned to a local priest who listened to Amelia's story with a mixture of skepticism and unease. The priest warned Amelia that she had become entangled in something dangerous, an ancient evil that had been dormant for centuries. The red circle was a symbol of a dark pact, a gateway to a realm where horrors beyond human comprehension resided. To break the curse, the priest said, she must return to the abandoned house and face the evil within. Armed with a crucifix and a prayer, Amelia ventured back to the house on Willow Street, her heart heavy with dread. As she approached the gate, the laughter she had come to fear returned, louder and more menacing than ever. Undeterred, she pushed it open and stepped inside. The house was now bathed in a sickly green light, casting an eerie glow on the walls. Amelia followed the sound of laughter to the living room, where she found herself face to face with the source of her nightmares. A grotesque creature, its body a mass of writhing tentacles and its eyes glowing an infernal red, stood before her. The creature lunged at Amelia, its claws outstretched. In a moment of desperation, she raised the crucifix and shouted a prayer. A blinding light filled the room, and the creature let out a deafening roar before disappearing into thin air. As the light subsided, Amelia realized that the red circle on the wall had vanished. The curse was broken. Exhausted but victorious, she stumbled out of the abandoned house and into the dawn's embrace. From that day forward, Amelia was a changed person. The horrors she had experienced had forged her into a resilient and courageous young woman. The red circle may have left a mark on her arm, but it also served as a reminder of her strength and the darkness she had overcome. And so, the legend of the red circle was passed down through generations of Willow Creek children, a cautionary tale about the dangers that lurked in the shadows and the importance of facing one's fears, no matter how terrifying they may be.